Welcome to the latest edition of Cageside Speaks. My name is 14 Fitzpatrick, and guys, I think the year is finally over. So that means that we're going to talk about what happened in the year of 2016. Because it's a new year, a new day, a new dawn. And we need to look back and see, well, while most people were panicking over 2016 and saying it was a horrifically bad year, in the year of wrestling, it actually was pretty good. And I've brought with me to here today two returning guests and a brand new speaker to our little show, as this is the gimmick where we take a bunch of people from the Cageside Seats community, put a microphone in front of them and say, here's some questions we're asking you. First up, making another appearance is Gabe.
Hi, everybody.
And also making a return appearance is Jared.
Hello.
And joining us on this particular show is Michael Abelson.
Hello.
And
yes. Do you like my fan gimmick, and do you like my gecko? Like that's been the big pre-show questions.
Yeah. Yep, he's got his XFL jersey on, and he has his sidekick, Mr. Gecko, joining us on this particular
I'm accepting names.
Yeah. So, to start things off, we're going to be looking for this basically as a calendar of years or months, rather. And January was one of the most interesting starts of a year of wrestling ever. At Wrestle Kingdom, AJ Styles wrestled Shinsuke Nakamura. By the end of January, both of them were in WWE.
Not technically.
Yeah. Well, AJ appeared at the Rumble.
Well, yeah. I meant Nakamura didn't sign. Yeah. Quotes.
I thought he did sign, but he just didn't bring him in until that Zayn match.
He didn't. He had to finish Japan.
Oh yeah. It was weird. His last New Japan match was super weird. It was, he never gave up the IC title. He just vacated it, and his final match was a 6-man tag in which he was not involved with the pin.
Yeah.
So,
that was a weird way to go, but it was a way to go nonetheless. And so we'll start off our thoughts. What do you think about AJ Styles? How has his year gone, you think? And we're going to let the new guy speak first. Michael?
I hope I don't get booed out of the building, but I think his year was phenomenal. But no, for real, I mean, he was the guy that people wanted in for years, and they never thought he would come in. He was always the TNA guy. And then, I mean, the way he left TNA, where I remember correctly, didn't he just like walk out with the title and Dixie was begging him? It was a whole mess when he leaves TNA. And he goes, has this great career renaissance in New Japan, and he comes into WWE and gets nuclear pop when he showed up in Orlando at the Rumble. And, less than, 9-10 months later, he's world champ. I mean, holding the same belt that Hogan had, that Michaels had, that Austin had. I mean, it's a thing that I know 1-2 years ago no one thought would ever happen, and now it just feels so normal and right.
Yeah, I mean, they picked the perfect city for him to debut in, which was Orlando, which was his home for a number of years, being stuck with the Donner Party of professional wrestling.
Oh, come on.
Sure, but, his loyalty, he finally decided, you know what, I'm older, I need to make some money now, so jump over to WWE and have a really good year. And actually, he beat John Cena, which is an even bigger shock.
Those matches were great.
Yeah, those matches were good, and, people accepted AJ Styles into this position, and now he's the world champion, and now he's facing against the terrors of Dean Ambrose, Dolph Ziggler, and Baron Corbin.
And James Ellsworth.
And James Ellsworth.
Real shark in the water here.
Yep, and also John Cena again.
And maybe Undertaker.
And possibly Undertaker. So, Jared, what are your thoughts on the year that AJ Styles has had?
He's had a great year. Yeah, always been a fan of him since about 2002 to 2006 when I used to watch TNA regularly. And he was always one of my favorites. Him, Samoa Joe, Daniels, and not so much Bobby Roode. But Styles definitely been one of my favorites seeing him show up WWE. I didn't think I'd see that. He's put on some of the best matches of the year. The one with Roman Reigns at Payback. Was it Extreme Rules? Was one of them.
Extreme Rules was the Extreme Rules match.
Yeah, that one. And the match with John Cena at SummerSlam. And I'll never tire of him beating up James Ellsworth.
Yeah, he certainly managed to cap off the year perfectly by beating up James Ellsworth half to death, and that must have been quite a sight for you, wasn't it, Jared?
Loved it.
Okay, Gabe, what are your thoughts on the year that AJ Styles has had?
Well, phenomenal. But just going in, comes in, debuts at the Rumble, and it's like they did that perfect. They actually do the Rumble really well, and sell him coming in perfectly. Even like Y3, but like it was basically by himself and Roman, and then him just surviving like basically the first 2 months where he had to carry Jericho and in some really bad stuff, and then just
Y2 jackass.
yeah, he just then you had Styles lose at WrestleMania to Jericho. That was lovely. That put butts in the seats.
Mm-hmm.
And
oh dear, I think you've made Michael have some flashbacks there, Gabe.
Nah,
did he
man, that
lose
was
the gecko?
No, the flashback of AJ losing to Jericho at Mania.
Oh yeah, clean.
what a stupid show.
He did really well, and then but I think he was having some like great TV matches. Oh yeah, great TV matches like early in the year on like SmackDown with like Kofi and like pulling out like a 4-star match with Xavier also, I think, at some point. Might have been early SmackDown this year.
Whenever it was a good match.
Both of them.
Mm-hmm.
Just pulling out good stuff really early, surviving Jericho, putting over Reigns extremely hard.
Those matches were great.
Yeah, they put over each other really hard. And then Memorial Day was unreal.
Mm-hmm.
Just, you don't, like, having those two in the same, having him and John Cena in the same ring at the same time. Yeah, that was pretty, well, and then the heel turn was awesome too.
Mm-hmm.
And then everybody panics that it's going to be the same John Cena feud. Which,
well, everyone panics in wrestling all the time about everything.
Yeah, but it's John Cena.
Well, this time the panic wasn't necessarily needed in this case because you had John beaten by Styles twice.
Yeah, I actually liked the first match more than the SummerSlam match.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Because when was the last time you remember John Cena selling a limb like that?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. He never. I mean, he'll sell a limb for 30 seconds and then suddenly a perfect FU into a perfect STF with nothing hurting, and we're done.
Oh, his adrenaline gets going. Don't worry. He's Superman.
Mm-hmm.
He's got the healing powers of a phoenix. I mean, he doesn't feel pain.
At least it's consistent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is consistent.
He consistently doesn't feel pain.
Hey, he comes back in like 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna be out for a year. 2 weeks later, he's back.
Hey,
Yeah.
he won the Royal Rumble after tearing his shoulder 3 months later in 2008.
Yeah.
And then he didn't basically take any legit time off until like the elbow injury where Bryan beat him like 5 years later.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
When he had, what was it like? It was like a fist coming out of his elbow.
Giant football, I thought.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he recovers really quickly. He also, but he works really hard. So to do that.
happy
So
to
then
have
you had
George
this.
back.
Then you had the Cena feud, which is still going on, but they set that up perfectly, where Cena lost the first match dirty, won the second match in a tag match. So he hasn't ever beaten him in a singles match. He's pinned him once.
Mm-hmm.
And then you had him, like, you worry at SummerSlam Cena's gonna win, but you know he's not. So that match was you had another good match with I if anybody remembers the John Cena face after AJ Styles kicks out of the Super AA.
He was PO'd, man.
Yeah.
His face of just like shock.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and then after when AJ because Cena leaves the headband and AJ's parading around with the headband for the next like month or whatever it was.
Oh yeah, he's the face that runs the place.
Yeah.
What a dick. and then he beats Dean Ambrose for the WWE title in Richmond.
Yeah.
Which yeah. Well, I'm not gonna say what I'm gonna say. I'll leave that out. But yeah, that and then you. Oh yeah, and to make sure AJ Styles can actually get booed, which Dean Ambrose wasn't getting cheered.
Well,
Sorry.
I mean,
If you like Dean, that's fine, but like he wasn't getting cheered over AJ's. They had to bring in James Ellsworth.
mm-hmm. Which then turned it into its own feud, and which ended with AJ beating him to basically a pulp.
With a very satisfying ending.
Yeah, beating him with 2 kicks and 3 backhands to the face, which is all it should have taken.
Hey, every other time he faced him, he beat him.
Mm-hmm.
Very convincingly.
Yeah.
But he lost. The first time Dean basically refused to let him win.
Mm-hmm.
Second time he could have beat him in like 10 seconds, but wanted to stick it to Dean. So he got himself DQ'd. Then the third time he got help again. And then he finally just got beaten to a pulp.
I'm not sure there's enough time, but I would love for Ellsworth to be built up, preferably for Mania, but probably for SummerSlam to win, either tag with someone to win the tag belts or win the B belt, whichever one is on SmackDown at the time, the US or the IC, and have him get a really nice pop for that.
And then lose it the next day.
Oh, hell, you can even have him lose it 15 minutes later. Oh.
Yeah. I mean,
well, he's in an interesting angle right now.
mm-hmm. Yeah. He's about to be sleeping with the fishes.
I wonder how he'll be doing later.
That man is doomed. That man is certifiedly doomed.
I guess I'll just have to take it on the chin. Oh wait, he can't.
Yeah.
Chin. Yeah, AJ Styles has had a really good year on that. Even he just like I don't remember if you have a bad match with AJ Styles in 2016, 2017, you're probably not very good.
I'll second you. No, you're just not good at anything. I'll second that statement.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, honestly, I think his match. I mean, I don't want to sound too all indie mark here, but his match with Nakamura at the Tokyo Dome was one of the best I've seen in years. I mean, that was almost
really
a perfect
good.
match.
Yeah.
And I didn't even headline the show because of Okada and Tanahashi, which was also quite good.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I would love to see those two go at it again at a WrestleMania at some point, whether it's 34 or 35.
As long as Nakamura shows up.
Mm-hmm.
Oh god, a Mania entrance for Nakamura would be just melting.
Well, I meant Nakamura show up in the ring. He would show up for AJ though.
Yeah, well, there's you can tell on NXT when he's going at 50%, but when he goes full bore like he did against Sami Zayn, I think he's the best in the world when he goes 100.
Mm-hmm.
When he tries.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
kind of like Randy Orton.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, the Rumble was won by Triple H, who got a massive pop from the old retirees at the event.
But the best moment in the Rumble was entrant number 12. Does anybody remember what that was?
Hold on, I just had it. I'm pulling this up. Let me see who. Let's pull it up. Boop, boop, boop. Number 12.
R-Truth.
R-Truth in the Royal Rumble. He was
R-Truth in the ladder.
with a ladder.
It perfectly paid off R-Truth being an idiot for the entire calendar year.
It was amazing. If you go back and like watch it and listen to JBL, he's like, I know what he's doing, but I have no idea why.
Man lasted 59 seconds and was eliminated by Kane.
Who didn't do the ladder out of the ring. He ran down, got the ladder, climbed it, looked at us like, where's the belt?
And Kane eliminated him shortly thereafter.
Kane eliminated. It was like the perfect timing of the Rumble too.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
it's amazing when you look at that Rumble. Del Rio was in at 26, Stardust at 14, Ryback at 9, and now those three guys are all off doing other things. Mm-hmm. Well, not quite sure what Ryback's doing, but I know what the other two are doing.
I mean, Ryback is eating baked trucks full of meat.
How Miz entered the Royal Rumble also was great.
Mm-hmm.
He decided to go to commentary team until like Brock and the Wyatts left.
Mm-hmm.
What a smart guy.
Anything the Miz did this year was great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, we'll get the Miz when we get down to later in the year. But next up on our list is an event that happened in February. We talked about this on the Fastlane show. Daniel Bryan announced his retirement from in-ring competition. Now, ordinarily, this would be, okay, the guy's done. But instead, WWE decided to use him in the brand split as the SmackDown general manager. What are your thoughts right now on the year that Daniel Bryan has had? And we'll start once again with Michael.
I think he is, of the 4 authority figures, which in my opinion is 3 too much, Bryan's really been the star. Either Foley is playing the greatest long con of being a shitty actor, or he really has lost it. I don't care for the McMahons, but Bryan has been awesome, especially on Talking Smack. And what I find most interesting is like when they just signed Nigel McGuinness, what was that, a couple of weeks ago, whatever it was, he sent out a tweet that basically said, hey, can't believe we both made it to WWE and none of us are wrestling, haha. Like, he keeps poking fun at the fact that he isn't wrestling, which, I mean, at least feeds the rumor mill that he still can go and WWE just won't let him. So there's that never-ending back and forth. But as an authority figure, I mean, he's a likable guy. He runs it, he runs SmackDown the way that Regal runs NXT, which I really like. Basically, kind of as like the school's headmaster that keeps the kids in line. Mm-hmm. And I don't watch SmackDown much, but when I do, when I see clips from it, I always enjoy it when he's on.
I mean, he wasn't known as a talker in his indie days, but he's managed to become a really, really good talker throughout the year. And it's a bit of a surprise there. Jared, what are your thoughts on Daniel Bryan?
I like that he doesn't hog the spotlight that much as an authority figure, but I don't really like his attitude towards heels. I feel like he's too much of a face manager, and that he abuses it a little bit. Throwing Miz in match after match, all because he called them out, and then Miz snapped back. But probably best promo of the year in WWE. Mm-hmm. Then throwing, I think it was Alexa in random matches, a title, even though she hadn't done anything. He's almost acting like a little bit of a bully, almost. That's the word I want to use. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he tried to bully The Miz. We know that for a fact. We know that he's bullied Corbin before. We know he's gone after Alexa, but that's because, there's the great dynamic of you're the heel and I'm the face and all that kind of stuff. Just like, it does make sense to a degree, but it also goes, you're going a little too far with this. Sometimes.
I think it'd be nice if they used other people to get heels over other than Bryan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's done a good job of getting them over.
Yeah, yes, but I do agree with Jared's point. They do need to get other people around so that they can get faces and heels over.
Well, they've done a pretty good job of getting a lot of heels over. They don't really have a ton of faces, top tier faces.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you want me to go?
Sure.
I think he's done a good job. I kind of get your guys' point, but like, as a face, you're supposed to be prodding like the heel to get like stir them up if they're not giving you anything. So like, it balances. I feel like it kind of balances out in that way. He's not this bad, but like it's kind of like the reverse authority thing with a face, but he's not like super biased, but he just wants to give guys opportunities that earn it. And it's harder for a heel because they normally go about it by cheating and stuff that's not how he would view him.
It's not within the wrestling code of honor, as you would say.
Yeah, like that. So like they'll do that and he'll punish them per se, but like, and then do it like that. It's kind of like that, but it's not that extreme. But like in that way, he's basically he basically can say whatever he wants in a way also because they won't fire him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They won't fire him because you can't fire that because he'll just go wrestle somewhere else. Mm-hmm. Actually, I don't think Bree would let him, but
mm-hmm. Yes,
and then him at Cena on Total Bellas was really good too. So he like even though he's not wrestling, I think as long as he can stay involved with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think he'll be fine.
He'll be fine and help get people over too because he loves wrestling. But like, I get why Vince won't clear him per se.
Yeah, I get it.
It's really frustrating to everybody, including him.
Mm-hmm.
Should be a trainer.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I don't think
in NXT or something.
I don't. He lives in Arizona, so that really wouldn't help. It wouldn't be. I don't think it would fit. He doesn't live close to NXT, but like, he helps. I think he helps a lot on the main roster stuff too. So they have a lot of the trainers in NXT are pretty good.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I mean Daniel Bryan's had a good year, which is surprising considering that this wasn't really a wrestling year for him, but more as a talker. And side note, congratulations to the happy couple as Brie Bella is currently pregnant with the Dragon Baby.
Future WWE champ or women's champ.
Yep. And
future PWG world champ first, though.
Yeah. And also this GM thing kind of gets him away from Brie, who's extremely pregnant right now, and I don't think we want to lose Daniel Bryan to one of Brie's pregnancy cravings, as he is the smallest.
Brie mode.
Yeah.
I feel like I was the only person that liked that theme music. I did not mind it in the least.
Mm-hmm. Hey, it's the perfect kind of music if you want to get your friends out of the house. Yeah.
Duly noted.
If you have annoying guests at your house, play that Brie Bella theme on max volume.
Don't play it too loud. Just play it just loud enough that they can hear. That'll piss them off even more and get them out of the house. So is that Brie mode they're playing?
Mm-hmm.
Get out of here.
Oh God, the Pepsi verse is coming up.
Oh boy. We lost our minds. It's not even March yet.
Yeah. March was a good month. Not a lot of stuff happened because of Mania season was rolling around the corner.
You had Roadblock 1 as opposed to Roadblock 2 end of the line.
Oh yes, we talked about that. By the way, if you
traffic stop.
Yeah.
Yes,
if you'd like to hear the opinions of two Cagesiders who went at 2 hours and 45 minutes about the second show of Roadblock, then the link is over on the Cageside Seats YouTube page and should be down in the little headliner that says Roadblock at the line. And don't be afraid of that little 2 hour and 45 minute number. That actually was a very, very quick show. So then we have...
I'm looking at the card for Roadblock for Traffic Stop. What a weird show that was.
In Toronto?
Jericho beat Swagger by submission. Lesnar beat the Bray and Luke in a 2-on-1 handicap in 4 minutes.
He just squashed Luke.
Yeah, the semi-main event was Sami Zayn and Stardust going 12 minutes.
In a working 50-50 in an awful match.
Mm-hmm. Oh God, I forgot about that. Oh, I think
the
this
revival
is.
Enzo and Cass was lit.
Mm-hmm. That was a good match. I think this is as good a time as any to talk about the, well, I don't know. It's like Vince decided, well, I can't use this guy anymore. Let's unleash him upon the independent scene. And I'm, of course, referring to Dr. Doom himself, Cody Rhodes.
The American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes.
Yes, Cody Von Doom. So, seeing as you're a guy who watches the independent scene, Michael, what are your thoughts on this guy?
I have seen him wrestle live. Wrestle Tommaso Ciampa at XWA in Providence back in August. The match was very underwhelming. It went like 9 minutes. It was Ciampa's last American independent match, and Cody submitted him. So that was interesting. As far as his whole package, he's got a really good theme song by Downstate, which is really, really good. But he still kind of just wrestles the Cody WWE style match. I mean, he's adding new things into the repertoire. He wrestled Jay Lethal at Ring of Honor Final Battle in December. That was a really, really good match that also involved his heel turn. An old school classic. The ref turned around for a second. He kicks Jay Lethal in the nuts and then hits him with the crossroads. Cool healing, which was really cool. And I think in the Bullet Club, he'll really thrive as like whether they stick him as a heavyweight or a junior, I think he'll do really well. I mean, he can work. I mean, he's a really good wrestler. He can talk. He looks great. I think that the sky's the limit once he really gets into the rhythm and really starts building a rapport with independent wrestling fans who can be a different animal than WWE. But just look at his year. In one calendar year, he did WrestleMania, Bound for Glory, Bola, Final Battle, and in 2 days he's doing the Tokyo Dome. That's an insane year for anybody. And, he's only 31. I think he's going to do really, really well for himself. He'll win titles somewhere, no matter what, Ring of Honor, PWG, New Japan, wherever.
He already has
he's going to do okay.
He already has the Global Force Wrestling title.
I was shocked that was still a thing.
Yeah.
I thought it had just become, I don't know if you heard of Global Force Gold when Jarrett turned it into like a pyramid scheme.
Like many of the schemes that Jeffrey Jarrett has managed to come up with over the years.
JEFF, JARRETT. That's what he does. But I think Cody's going to be fine. It still is depressing when like all the NXT kids play up, the how they're so close with Dusty, where Dusty's actual kid got kicked to the curb. So there's that. But he's going to do fine on the indies. He's actually wrestling a few shows up by me, but I won't be around to see him. I wish I was, because I think I think 2017 is going to be a huge year for him on the indies.
I mean, we'll have to see. I mean, as far as the NXT kid stuff goes, I'm like, geez Louise, dude. Can't you just lighten up a little bit here, I understand that you had issues with your dad, but at the same time, your dad decided to spend the last years of his life inputting all of the knowledge that he had into these youngsters so that they could save and continue professional wrestling as it was.
I mean, I understand that, but I still think, he's he's Dusty's actual kid, and he was never really given a fair shake, at least in his eyes. I can understand why he's bitter about that, but I think I agree, it would behoove him to just kind of let it lie and just go be the best, biggest star he can be on the indies, which I think is a very, very big one.
I mean, like we said, we'll have to see how this goes. And, well, Roadblock after that was WrestleMania, wasn't it?
Oh, that great. That was incredible.
WrestleMania is still going on right now. Hasn't ended.
Oh, God. Now, I didn't cover WrestleMania 32 for Speaks. That would be KM Tierney. And that is an interesting show to watch, to see Eddie Mack and Blackjack go at it and scream at the heavens about this 6-hour-long show that apparently wasn't very good.
That had two faces win, which was Zack Ryder and excuse me, three faces win.
Are you forgetting the most electrifying man in all of sports entertainment?
I did, and I included three faces who won in 6 seconds after showing off for 20 minutes.
What was that thing he did? It was like, I remember being at my friend's house. They get through the Andre the Giant Memorial Super Mega Awesome Battle Royal.
That might have been the best thing they did all night.
That was a fun match. But then, like, we're talking like, well, what's left? Well, we have Roman and Hunter, and then The Rock's showing up. And we all kind of thought that he was going to, like, show up and do something, kind of like introduce Roman Reigns, which would have been kind of cool. Instead, he shows up with that goddamn fire extinguisher, dances around the stage for 15 fucking minutes, goes to the ring, hams it up for another 10 minutes. The Wyatts magically appear. Our Lord and Savior, Eric Rowan, gets jobbed out to this part-timer in 6 seconds, but only after John fucking Cena shows up.
No, he showed up after.
I thought he showed up. I don't even remember. That's how bad
him.
this was. This has to be one of the 2 or 3 worst segments in the history of Mania because it wouldn't end. We already had a main event no one wanted to see. Let's put in the semi-main spot.
Hold on.
Something
And then after that ended at 11:15. And after that, you had a 30-minute main event match.
Oh yeah, it was. I got the card up here. 27 minutes bell to bell for Roman and Hunter. That doesn't include Roman Reigns' punch the stage, watch the screen explode entrance, and it's Stephanie McMahon's dissertation atop the vampire walkway, whatever the hell that thing was.
Death metal.
Yes. Vampire.
And Finn Balor holding the WWE title.
What?
For like 2 seconds.
Yeah. Finn Balor holding the title at the WrestleMania show. He was one of the extras, I believe.
Oh, okay. I didn't read that. But yeah, that show sucked. I remember I was doing push-ups in my friend's living room, just trying to pass the time as Roman and Hunter were selling everything because they had a wrestle.
They should have just had Roman beat him in 10 minutes.
Yo, that's what Steve Austin said. If you listen to Austin's podcast, he said if you wanted to get people on the Reigns side and get him over, what you would have done is a 10 to 15 minute match, just an extended squash, and just have Roman beat the pus out of Hunter. Instead, we get that typical Hunter match where every move sells death. There's 45 seconds of heavy breathing between every move, and then another 90 seconds of breathing after the next move.
Yeah.
I'm not so bitter about wasting 7 hours on that show. No, not in the least.
And the best thing that happened was Zack Ryder winning the Intercontinental title.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Zack Ryder.
And then AJ Styles got pinned by Chris Jericho clean.
And no one was in the building to see it because no one could get their ticket scanned.
Yes, there was also that issue where apparently the ticket reader at Jerry World wasn't working properly, so people couldn't actually get into the show until I think at least Kalisto Ryback.
That was talk about an underrated match. That might have been the second best match of the night.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, hold on. Don't forget that 5-on-5 women's tag on the pre-show, which actually was pretty good.
With Bree Zabrik Jr.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was Team Total Divas. It was Bree, Eva, Alicia, Natalia, and Paige against Team Bad and Blonde, Lana, which I still think is her only ever main roster match, Naomi, Tamina, Emma, and Summer Rae.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and they went 12 minutes.
With Bree Zabrik Jr. with her amazing yes-lock transition.
Yes, that finish was great. And then, but it's like, I mean, everything about that card, like, I mean, I understand at least the main event.
Oh,
I mean,
and then you had the triple threat, women's triple threat.
Yeah, right in the middle. That was a good match. I disagree with the finish, but that was a really fun match.
So you can just say that statement about like every other pay-per-view with Charlotte, basically.
Yeah, I'm just looking forward to Mania when we can kind of end this stupid streak to nowhere. But no, it's like I understand, like looking back at Mania, like why Roman went over Hunter and the match sucked, but they told the story, they finished the story, everyone swallowed their cough medicine, no one liked it. I still think it was a bad call, at least to begin with. Coming out of 31, they should have realized that this Roman Reigns was like fetch, and fetch is not going to happen. Stop trying to make it happen.
You should have just had Roman Reigns beat Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 31.
Yeah, it should have just gone through with that. That would have been great. And instead of winding up with this weird cluster fuck with Lesnar and Goldberg and that weird 3 series match he had with Taker where he flips him off and passes out in the triangle. Yeah, it was everything is just weird. No one likes
that you had that great quote. Just make sure not great heel championship run by Seth Rollins.
Yeah, but
that definitely put a lot of butts in the seats.
Yeah, I mean, there isn't much putting a lot of butts in the seats. Like, look at the middle match
out of the seats.
Look at the middle match at Mania this year. The League of Nations going over the New Day, only to have
that was okay.
It was just like I don't understand.
We got to see Stone Cold stun Rusev, which was great.
Yeah, and then Michaels came back in his ring gear, and I mean the whole point was just to have the New Day come out of the cereal box. I mean that was the whole point of that match.
They were fine losing. They were that worked out fine. That wasn't as big a deal as other stuff.
Sure, but at the same time, 2 members of the League of Nations are now gone from the company, ADR and Barrett. Sheamus is stuck in a tag team with Cesaro, and Rusev is part of one of the worst angles that is going to be coming through 2017.
It's just the he's just reduxing the I mean, didn't he do this with Ziggler?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
he threw a fish.
Summer Rae.
He threw a fish at Lana.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that gave us one of the all-time great wrestling gifs, so I'm on board with that.
Sure.
I'll take the throwing of the fish any day of the week.
So, Jared, what were your thoughts on looking back on WrestleMania 32?
Very forgettable. Yeah.
Can we move on from Mania?
That long sigh.
Mm-hmm.
Let's move on from Mania.
Oh, I did like the triple threat for the women's title.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was a really good triple threat. Wasn't the brand split next after that?
No, Payback.
Oh, Payback. Okay. See, all of these pay-per-views just like blend together. Around this time period, I believe we were also starting to have some of the financial troubles in the land of TNA.
Oh, you mean that Ponzi scheme?
No, that was Global Force Wrestling.
No,
TNA
is a Ponzi scheme.
No, Billy Corgan came into TNA and basically tried a hostile takeover through the courts.
Oh, yeah, that. So, as the story goes, in the Donner Party of Professional Wrestling, Dixie Carter and Billy Corgan of the Smashing Pumpkins fame decided to go to war against one another when Dixie wouldn't sell him the company. Billy Corgan decided, being Crazy Billy, decided to go to the courts and try and take out Dixie.
Well, you're just forgetting one thing. It was the fact that Billy loaned Dixie some money to run some tapings with the belief that she wouldn't be able to pay him back, and then he would try and be able to take the company on the back end. So yeah, it was a bunch of, at least from what I read of the court documents, that's what I understood it to be.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a whole bunch of shadiness. And of course, the crazy thing is that you have the whole, final deletion, broken Hardys going on at the same time. So just a whole lot of broken in TNA.
And we found out they were like a legit Ponzi scheme also.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
No, I still think that was Global Force Gold.
Yeah.
Well, they were also they owe money from people. Like they owe money to people that they owe money from.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you go to the court documents.
Yeah, well, I think Anthem Sports has to pay, as part of taking it over, has to pay it back. But I mean,
they owe people money, and those people owe, they just owe they're not very doing well financially.
Well, here's what Gabe's trying to say. They owe their creditors, they owe the credit card companies that they have been giving loans to, and they also owe back money on from I believe the state of Tennessee is another place that actually they owe money because they had to move their corporate headquarters and they didn't pay the back taxes on it.
Now they're in like a storage unit or something.
Yeah, they're in a shed.
Actually, I think that's the same shed that they were in before.
Hey, I'm going to Tennessee in a month. If you guys want, we can take a collection, and I can just, bring it to the state of Tennessee and be like, here you go.
But now, apparently, Anaheim Sports owns TNA.
Yeah. Anthem, I think, is it a Canadian company? Is it an
No,
American company?
I think it's a Californian company.
Who knows?
That's not American or Canadian. It's California.
Oh, okay. I think I know that they're associated with the Fight Network.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well,
They still owe Fight Network money.
Yeah. Oh, they still owe them money?
I think they owe like a bunch of people money. Like they haven't paid their bills in like years or stuff.
Well, I mean, how many times at night would we open up the rumors and figure out that backstage staff wasn't paid, wrestlers weren't paid?
They had high morale.
Yeah, high morale, but low paychecks.
Mm-hmm.
No, high morale. Yeah.
I mean, creatively this year, this was probably one of TNA's strongest years. I mean, you had Bobby Lashley as the world champion of the world after doing the Good Samaritan deed of the year and destroying Kurt Angle. And I take it that you don't like Kurt Angle very much, Michael.
No. I have nothing good or bad to say about Angle. It's just how you phrased it that made me chuckle.
I thought we were on Payback, but okay.
Well, no, I mean, this was like... Payback was a good show, but just there was like really nothing to talk about there.
You had the main
You
event.
had that fatal four-way, didn't you?
Yeah.
No, the main event was Roman and Styles, and you also had KO and Sami Zayn on that card.
For the 1000th time.
Yeah. Also, this was the first appearance of Miz's manager.
No, that was the Smarkmania.
Sure, that was Smarkmania, but first official pay-per-view appearance of Miz's manager is what I'm saying.
Who did he beat? He beat Cesaro.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
That was a fun match.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it set everything up for the next pay-per-view, though, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Which was Extreme Rules, which was really good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, of the network events that happened in 2016, like Extreme Rules was another one that was good. And that was around the time when they announced that the brand split was happening.
Yeah.
So I guess that's our next topic of segment is...
Well, we could Extreme Rules and then a brand split. I think that's right. Could be wrong. Oh,
Yeah, Extreme Rules was a pretty good show.
we had the Extreme Rules, and then you had the Fatal 4-Way. You had for the IC title and some other stuff.
The
main event, Seth Rollins returns.
Oh God, that's why I've been kind of forcing it out of my mind. Seth Rollins returns to the show, and as Jared mentioned, the 27-minute long Asylum match.
Oh, the worst match of the year.
One of the worst matches of the year.
I just looked it up. The brand split came in July, and Extreme Rules was in May. So I know we're kind of iffy on the timeline.
And then after Extreme Rules, you had the build to Money in the Bank.
Mm-hmm.
And then you had the draft like a couple weeks later, right before Battleground.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So yeah, those two pay-per-views, Extreme Rules and Money in the Bank, were really good shows. You know.
Can we just have a quick moment of silence for Mitch the Houseplant?
Yeah. Yes, quick moment of silence. And...
Are we gonna all wear black?
Well, we can't really wear black, but
kidding.
I mean, I'm wearing a suit, so that counts.
I mean, my jersey is kind of black,
and Jared's got an avatar that's has red and black in it, so that counts.
It was more Miz and Morning segment stuff.
26 minutes, 21 seconds in an Asylum match.
Oh, where you finally popped the crowd after you got the thumbtacks out.
Mm.
And I wonder how many thumbtacks Chris Jericho had in his back.
About 17 to 27, I believe.
What?
9.
Add a six in front of the 9.
Oh god, but that match, I kept waiting for the crazy to happen and kept waiting, and it was just you had the one tack spot at the end, and it was like, oh, cool,
Cool.
that was worth it.
It took so long. No, you finally do something interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I
it's
don't
funny
understand
because
why Jericho kept trying to escape.
Yeah.
the only positive was that the cage was black, and at least for me, it seemed like it was a lot easier to see through the cage on TV. So I hope that they make black cages like a regular thing. I don't think they will. But I really liked that it was a lot easier to see and look through.
Yeah, and then you had, and then we went to Money in the Bank, and then we had the brand split.
Mm-hmm. So,
Money in the briefcase.
yep, money in the
Which had-
briefcase.
Which had all 3 Shield members
Mm-hmm.
hold the WWE Championship in the same night.
I believe that was also the last appearance by Alberto Del Rio in the company.
Nope, he is the
No,
last. His last appearance. He is the last person to lose to John Cena in a singles match clean this year.
Uh-huh.
So
Sure, but I'm talking
Cena's
about
last
I'm talking about pay-per-view appearances. This was his last official pay-per-view appearance.
Oh
Hey.
yeah.
Without looking at the card, do you guys remember what match went on before Rollins and Reigns for the title?
Wasn't it a women's match?
It was Rusev versus Titus for the U.S.
Oh, I know you know why it went on there? Because that match took forever. Because the same night there's Game 7 of the NBA Finals, so they literally told Rusev and Titus to kill time until the finals were over, so they could. They played Money in the Bank perfectly though with that.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think I changed my TV over. I just left like the network on, changed it over, and then was like, oh wait, is this match over yet? Oh, matches. They probably told the ref in the ear, oh, finals is over. Finish this match. And then Rusev yelled at Titus's kids.
Mm-hmm. Wasn't a very good year for Titus O'Neil, honestly. The guy got suspended for 90 days.
60.
60?
For inappropriate touching.
Yeah.
Yeah, Vince McMahon suspending a guy for inappropriate touching. Pot calling the kettle black there, eh?
Hey, he didn't do it as bad as the as the Clemson football player.
Mm-hmm.
Oh god. Grabbing him right in the balls.
Also, this Money in the Bank was also Apollo Cruz's, I think, first pay-per-view match, as he defeated Sheamus in a singles match.
He did.
For random statistics here, we have that. And anyway, so now we get to the brand split. If I was off by 2 months there, I apologize there. And okay, what are our thoughts on the brand split overall, since it's gone on from July? And Jarrett, you're going to go first.
SmackDown got shafted during that draft. There's very little depth on the roster. Main event teams only like 3 people: AJ, Cena, and Ambrose. Miz, I think this year will jump into that scene. Ziggler stick around the mid card with Corbin and maybe Shelton Benjamin when he comes back. Tag team scene is weak. We're probably breaking up the Wyatts, or at least Orton's leaving that.
Oh.
Maybe bring him to the main event scene. American Alphas, tag champs. Usos kind of just floating along right now. And that's really it for the tag scene.
Well, they have a better tag scene than Raw. So.
Yeah, they split the tag division and women's division in half, and that just really exposed the depth. I would have been more satisfied with putting the tag scene all the tag teams on one roster, keeping the women's roster on one show.
Well, then everybody would be. Then you wouldn't make any other women stars besides one. So.
That's a good point, but I do agree with Jared that it wasn't exactly handled all that well as far as the splitting of the divisions.
You want me to go next, or is Jared still have stuff to go?
Anything else to say, Jared?
No.
Okay, so you want to go next, Gabe?
Yeah, I'll go. I think the brand split's given us. I think it hurt NXT. Well, they kind of hurt themselves at the same time. It hurt NXT, and I get why they did it, because they need the ratings, but they've produced one really good show and one show that hasn't gotten much better. So it's helped that, and they've found ways to make stars where they probably wouldn't have been given opportunities otherwise. Like Miz has really shined. Corbin's got a chance to show it as a heel instead of 50-50 with Dolph, the great Extreme Rules match on the pre-show. If anybody remembers that. I think it helped the women in a way where it helps them bring more women into NXT, and where you can bring them up at some point, and more veterans in, and you got it helped the women's division, because it made Charlotte and Sasha stars once they just started having great matches on pay-per-views with terrible segments in between. And then you got Becky and Alexa to shine and show off Nikki in a better light. And they don't have a lot. SmackDown doesn't have a lot of depth, but they produce very compelling TV that makes you want to watch it for every week. And Raw just hasn't. It feels like Raw got the indie workers and SmackDown got the WWE workers, which isn't like an insult. It's more like they just have the guys that are good at wrestling and not great at character work, and then SmackDown got the character work, and they're also written to their strengths. And
I think. Oh, go ahead, Gabe. Sorry about that.
And then it's really let AJ shine, and he got a top spot. So it's helped other people get top spots and showcase, and you have less. If you fail, where there's 2 top spots per se, you're probably not deserving of a top spot. More so, it's given the best WWE TV that you can remember in a while. Besides, it's a better version, NXT, 2000.
It's a better version of NXT from a couple of years ago, you mean?
Yeah, it was good. NXT was good writing, and you're developing guys, and this is just you get the stars and you're doing even better with them.
Okay, that's cool.
And you have Talking Smack, which is just.
Yeah, Talking Smack has just been an absolute storm of a show that nobody expected was going to do well, but instead has just been amazing from start to finish.
When you have one of the best characters for when you have a really good interviewer and somebody that plays off of that person really well, it helps. In Brian playing off of Renee. And even when they've had Miz and JBL on there, they just able to play off and host the show really well.
Well, I mean, the strength of that show is that Renee Young was a former television host for a wrestling show up in Canada. So she has experience in that field. And you give the people that have experience. Hired her. Yeah, that's why they hired her. That's why they've been keeping her around, even if ESPN has been trying to take her off of contract.
I don't think she wants to leave though.
Yeah, I'm certain she doesn't. So, you have any thoughts on the brand split, Michael?
Yeah. Excuse me, that damn cold.
Oh, I forgot one thing.
Go for it. What's up?
It also made for a super entertaining segment every week on Raw with Braun Strowman just destroying everything. He even suplexed a Christmas tree.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep, we talked about the Christmas tree carnage last week. That was a cool segment.
Oh yeah, he made James Ellsworth a thing.
Oh yes, we have to thank him for that. Send him Christmas cards and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, he's like he's like the one, like, if you don't want to watch Raw and you need to watch one thing, just go watch Braun Strowman because he's normally doing something entertaining.
Braun is the one person on this roster that seems to have figured out that I'm a big scary dude and I'm gonna do my best to try and make this as entertaining as possible.
Yep, you get the main event.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I'm looking forward to Braun having his moment. But
Yeah.
as far as the
I want
brand
to see Braun Goldberg for the title, where Braun just squashes Goldberg.
I'd be on board. Buries him under a Christmas tree. But no, I think the split has been overall a good thing. I kind of agree a lot with Gabe with SmackDown kind of, SmackDown really elevating. It's amazing what happens when a show is live and not taped. And
written well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't really watch much WWE, but when I do, I'm always watching SmackDown clips and some of the matches from SmackDown because it's like, it's either really, really good or perfectly stupid, like with the whole Ellsworth angle. Like, it's good, dumb wrestling fun, and you just want to see it all play out. Whereas Raw still drags with the third hour. It still has Roman Reigns. It a lot of what makes Raw must miss is still kind of there for me.
It doesn't, like, mostly it doesn't, like, if something happened last week, the next week it doesn't matter. Like, in SmackDown, like, James Ellsworth beat AJ Styles 3 times, but it came to a close of he's gonna just squash him in 10 seconds, basically.
Yeah, and I mean, like,
he also didn't, like, beat him. Like, AJ beat him, and then, like, for some reason, due to interference or something, he got cheated out or lost or got himself DQ'd.
But everything makes sense.
It made everybody look strong instead of just, oh, here's your Universal Champ who got the title given to him, losing every match clean.
I'm sorry, did someone say looking strong? But like, it doesn't say a lot for Raw when we as TV viewers talk about SmackDown being like, hey, the story actually makes sense and moves forward in a linear fashion. Like, it actually has the one story mechanic that every TV show is supposed to have, and that doesn't say a lot for Raw, where it doesn't have the backbone of a TV show. It's just kind of a bunch of non-associated vignettes. So I hope that both shows can be good in 2017. The only negative for me of the brand split is the every other Sunday pay-per-view, which I have completely forgotten when most are even happening because they're happening so often, as opposed to just the one a month where it's like, I know when the Rumble is here, I know Mania is here, I know Fastlane is here, whereas you have Roadblock End of the Line, Clash of, not Clash of the Champions, and it just, they all kind of stack on top of each other. I would love for them to go back to the old pay-per-view system they had under the original brand split, where it's just one a month and the shows would rotate. And if it meant that, if it was like, if Raw has the February show, so SmackDown doesn't have its own B show between Rumble and Mania, so be it. It has a bunch of big matches for free TV. I think it would work a lot better that way instead of just burying itself.
SmackDown kind of just did that because theirs was like the first week of December, and there's nothing till the Rumble. So they just made, like, last week a huge show with everything on it.
Yeah. and it works out well.
I think they realized that the numbers, ticket-wise and stuff, because there's so much happening, that they're gonna try to avoid having it like 2 a month, because that's kind of insane to see.
I remember there was one pay-per-view event. I forget which one it was. It was either in Norfolk, Virginia, or Richmond, Virginia. And I remember reading that the company was just going around town just giving tickets away.
It was probably Backlash in Richmond.
Yeah, that's probably what it was then.
And Pittsburgh for Roadblock also.
Roadblock 2, the blockening? Is that what it was?
Oh, they were like giving away tickets basically.
Yeah,
like,
and I
2
mean,
for 1. Like that's not. Well, okay, I think SmackDown's gotten better with stuff, but like it's hard if there's like pay-per-view, because those are normally more expensive. Those are more expensive than a house show. Not cheaper.
It doesn't look good for the company when you're a money-making operation handing away $10,000, $12,000 in tickets on the night, or however much it is.
They do that a little bit anyways, in like a non-discreet way, but it's in a different way to help. Like radio shows get a lot of stuff for the local ones that come up, but like
yeah, no, I understand that they'll do giveaways, and that's a lot of teams and shows will do that. But like when it becomes like a point in kind of the almost monthly rumor mill that they had a bunch of seats with free tickets,
or like really cheap tickets, or like 2 for 1 deals and stuff. Yeah, it's not a good look.
Yeah, so I think less is more. I think that's why, at least for me as an indie guy, why, my local indie is Beyond Wrestling, which had a really good year. And it works well when they have one show a month. Maybe they'll do 2 on a weekend, Saturday and Sunday. But it makes that one show really, really important for the fans, because everything's going to happen that one day, as opposed to, 2, 3 pay-per-views a month. Who knows? If you have 5 Sundays in a month, it's conceivable to have 2 pay-per-views for one brand in a month. Like, that's insane.
Yeah, I think that I saw something that they might cut back on it a little bit, but you still like between the Rumble and Mania makes sense for each to have one. It's a bigger split, and then
yeah. Well, then what happens at Mania? I mean, are we gonna have all?
You'll do what you did. You'll probably
belts?
do. It'll be like SummerSlam, which every show's every major pay-per-view is 4 hours, 2-hour pre-show, and split. And you put both stories in together, but like you're doing each stuff separately.
Okay.
But
yeah, that works.
But it makes for a really long Big 4 pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, that kind of does work. I personally enjoy the monthly pay-per-views, but that's just me. Okay, this month is for Raw, this month is for SmackDown, and as someone who has up until recently never been able to enjoy pay-per-views because they were back in only a few years ago, $59 per show on a pay-per-view, whereas with the network I can,
$10 or whatever.
10 bucks a month, and I get to watch these shows.
And you don't even have to watch it live.
Yeah, you can watch it on your TV whenever you want to.
Or you can watch as many times as you want. So
Sure. But the point is that I'm not paying $59 a month to watch a pay-per-view. I never did that when I have been a fan for the last several years, and I never bought pay-per-view. I was always watching.
I get what. I know it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, yeah.
So.
And then after the Bland Spirit was Battleground.
Mm-hmm. Yep, Battleground, which was interesting. But also during that time, it was basically the first pay-per-view of the new era, and then you had SummerSlam, which was... Oh, actually, SummerSlam was... right before. So you had Battleground, which was a good show, SummerSlam, which had a lot of controversy behind it, which I believe you talked about on the SummerSlam show, Babe.
I wasn't on that one, was I? Or I was on the TakeOver. I thought I was on the NXT one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I believe you were on the NXT one, and
I think I was on the SummerSlam show.
Oh yeah, you were on the Apocalypse SummerSlam show. That's right. That's Jared, where we talked about the Brock Lesnar Randy Orton match, and Oh boy, that was a waste of money there for WWE. Brock Lesnar.
Well, hopefully that comes to good, but it doesn't seem like it.
I mean, he lost to Goldberg. That was a
Oh
positive.
yeah, he lost to Goldberg in 80 seconds, but hopefully
85,
Goldberg
85
puts.
seconds. Give him his due.
Mhm.
He took it. Hey, what do you want to say about Cena having 5 moves, but Goldberg just squashed him with 4? Push, spear, jackhammer.
Hey man, that push sets you up, man. You never know. You don't know when it's gonna come. That push is gonna get you.
Hey, look, hey, it works with Braun. Just beat up jobbers.
But
And
after,
do kib-ups on house shows.
Mhm.
Did
Yeah,
you
he
see
does
that?
keep up. Yeah, I saw that. He does keep up on house shows.
Well, I mean, also, this weekend you also had, Takeover Brooklyn 2.
Mhm. Yep.
Oh yeah, that
with
wasn't
King
as good as
Nakamura.
NXT hasn't been able to do it. Hasn't been great since like Dallas.
I mean, I was there the night at the house show when Joe beat Balor for the title.
Mhm.
Oh, you were there with a bunch of other people were there too.
Yeah, it was white hot that when he won. I mean, building came completely unglued.
Didn't you guys also have DIY Revival before that?
No, we didn't have Gargano on the card. We had
Or was it Alpha?
I think it was Alpha. Yeah, it
Alright.
was Alpha because Ciampa wrestled the man we now know as Oni Lorcan, which that was a really good match.
Mhm.
Oni
We had
Larkin. What a name.
Mhm.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, Biff Busick isn't tough enough. We have Oni Lorcan.
I thought his name was only Locan. Mhm.
Well, yeah, it's not a very good name.
No. And then we had
Almas versus Aries.
we actually Andrade Cien Forever Almas. That was a really good match as they test drove that. That was really fun. But Joe Balor was the story. Which was a good match, not a great match. It was a good match, and then the finish, the place just came unglued because no one saw it coming. And then ever since then, it's just been Joe and Nakamura ping ponging the title back and forth.
Yeah. Although SummerSlam did have one really, really good moment that I should mention. The return of the Queen of Strong Style.
Oh, I thought you were going to say AJ Styles beating John Cena clean also.
No, we mentioned that earlier in the show.
Oh, yeah, Nikki Bella returned.
Yeah. That was a surprise return because Ava Marie had been suspended 30 days for breaking the wellness policy.
No, she got stuck in traffic. It
Sure.
was late, remember? She had to take a vacation. She needed a
Sure, that's
break.
what she says, but in
And then
actuality...
you had a really good Balor Rollins match for the fruit.
No, that was awful.
I thought the match was okay for the fruit roll up belt.
Mhm.
I thought the chants were more interesting than the match got good when they finally started to just throw moves for 5 minutes and finish.
Mhm.
The rest were just like headlocks and chin locks for 15.
I just love how it lists Lesnar defeats Randy Orton by technical knockout. Well, that's one way to word it.
Yeah. Yeah, SummerSlam was definitely a show of controversy, and as far as let's see. Oh, interesting. Well, that's right. I think Roman was suspended at the time, so he wasn't at SummerSlam.
No, he was at SummerSlam.
No,
No, he's not on the card.
No, he's not on the card.
He wasn't on the card.
Nope.
But you did have the electric Sami Zayn and Neville defeating the Dudley Boys.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that was hype.
Yeah.
No, hype was in the first match when you had the Hype Bros.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, they've done
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, Roman wasn't on the card because
that
he got.
was, at Battleground.
Mm-hmm.
You had Mojo debut at home, and everybody was just like, "Who is this?" Besides, like, one row of Hype Bro shirts, which I'm assuming is his family. But
Well, Things
you-
was
you could-
excited. Things
was
and
like-
stuff.
oh no, it was cool, but it was everybody was like, "Who's this?" Unless you knew it from NXT, but like most people were confused.
Yeah, but I mean that actually brings up an interesting point because like My brother loves NXT, and he watches all the shows. But it's like, and I think this is kind of something that happens with a lot of NXT junkies, where they have this weird belief that, oh, well, he's big in NXT, he'll be big on the main roster, and it's like the NXT viewership is like a fifth of the main TV show.
Just go listen to Kevin Owens pop when he shows up for John Cena.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that was a good pop, but a good pop doesn't necessarily mean that the man's going to have long-term success on the main roster. I mean, the problem with Owens right now is that he's gotten incredibly lazy and is now in a situation where even his most diehard fans are finding it very hard to root for him at this point.
Well, isn't he kind of treading water?
Yeah, he's treading water
with Jericho. Like, yeah, I would love to see him hold on to the Universal belt and have Zayn win the Rumble and set that up. But I don't think that's going to happen.
I would rather just see Braun Strowman versus Goldberg for the Universal title.
Braun Strowman versus every other human on the planet.
Just have Braun Strowman. Yeah, just Braun Strowman Goldberg Universal title match, WrestleMania, where Braun Strowman wins in 2 minutes.
And the wrestling world burns with fire. But Gabe here wants to watch the world burn. Apparently.
That's how it is.
I would rather him beat Goldberg than Brock Lesnar after the babyface has won twice in 12 years. Redemption story for a heel.
I'll just, I guess, being the indie guy, I'll just toss in, also in the month of August, Kenny Omega won the G1 Climax out in Japan, which was the first ever non-Japanese to win the tournament, and I think is a really big deal because it seems like New Japan is adamant about making a Western expansion, or at least more inroads somehow into the American and Western markets, and I think having a top guy, you know, from an English-speaking country, Omega's from Winnipeg, you idiot. I think it's really good to have him in a top role, and I think it sets the tone for what I think will be a really big 2017 for New Japan.
Yeah, and also, you know, New Japan had a pretty decent year, and Wrestle Kingdom is actually going to be on the list of shows we might be doing this year for Speaks. So stay tuned for that one, folks.
Oh, I'm excited for that show.
And the next up on the list of things to talk about is the Cruiserweight Classic.
Oh, that was lit.
Yeah.
That was all the lit. Every single bit of lit.
I think the person they put the belt on wasn't a great choice, but I know why they did it. Just
once Sabre didn't sign, I think.
No, once Ibushi didn't sign.
Yeah, but even then, I feel like they would have put it on an American because it's an American TV show. And at least the inaugural champion would have been an American.
They taped the first round, and they set the brackets up so it was how to go one way. And then they didn't want to push Johnny into Cruiserweight. Ibushi wasn't signing, so he was there to put somebody over. Oh, it also gave us...
Yeah, but like...
It gave us a move that's been used very rarely, ever, and is technically banned on WWE TV, with Brian Kendrick hitting the burning hammer on Kota Ibushi.
And just driving his head down into his torso.
Yeah, he did it safely, but like...
I don't know, that looked pretty violent.
He landed so it was like a triangle between his head and his shoulders. So it's where it's pretty safe.
So, what were did you watch the Cruiserweight Classic, Jared?
No, I can't get into the Cruiserweights. The most I've seen is stuff on Raw. I do like Kendrick, though. And Jack Gallagher's growing on me. I like Mel coming back as a heel. I want to like Rich Swann, but still on the fence about him.
Can't handle it.
Since we're talking cruiserweights on Raw, I absolutely loved when Gallagher came out during that Arya Daivari match and is like, "I am here to announce my intention to interfere in this match." I'm like, I love this man. That was perfect.
They're gonna push him apparently, so that's good.
Okay.
Hey, have him win the title of Mania. I'm sure he'll get a huge pop with that crowd.
Mhm.
Who would he? Him versus Neville. Nobody would understand what they're saying.
Oh,
Don't
God.
worry, they don't need to. I mean, the concept of these two beating each other up is something that is recognizable in all languages, Gabe.
Hey, just have Gallagher keep curling people up in balls and then kicking them in the butt. Down, tangle them.
And
But
then continue, Michael.
No,
No, I
with
was
the
just gonna say,
Cruiserweight Classic, it was done really well. Where even if like they probably set it up the wrong way to do the champ, but they were banking on some stuff to happen, and logistics made sense how they went with how they set everything up. But how everything just like, even that it was a tournament, it was a story within a story, and like you built up like a finishing move to matter when somebody kicked out. Like Tozawa was German. He would beat the first guy, beat the second. Then when whoever kicked out of it,
Metal
it
League.
felt like a big deal. And same thing with the other finishers too.
I mean, they did
Yeah.
make the finishers matter in this tournament.
Like they escalated moves. And the matches just escalated where it felt like the match was getting better as it went on to finish strong. And nothing was over like 15 minutes ever. And
Yep.
and everything was really done really well.
Yeah, I just pulled up the whole bracket here. There was, of the 31 matches, there were only 3 that went over 15 minutes. So
What
yeah,
were
they
those?
kept everything. They were Saber and Noam Dar in the quarters went 15:46. Oh, there's 4 matches. Metalik went 15:49 over Tozawa in the quarters, and then Perkins went over Swan in 17 minutes, and then the final went 18 minutes. But I mean,
yeah.
I mean, everything in the first round was basically 10 minutes or less. They kept everything really
You
tight.
had the time limit too, so you had to work fast.
Yeah, and it's nice because I mean, how many times have you read one of Gino's raw write-ups and he's just complaining about how there's no stakes to matches and they mean nothing. Well, when you stick them in a tournament with a defined end and a pretty sizable chunk of hardware, or at least a big accolade at the end, it adds more juice to
Well, you also have the time limit, so you can't tie because both of you are out.
Yeah, so I mean, everyone's got to hustle through.
And
you have a bunch of different guys from, what was it, like 15, 16 countries represented.
And they also incorporated the Gargano Ciampa story where it looked like Ciampa was gonna shoot and murder Johnny after he hurt his knee after he lost, because Ciampa lost to Gargano, and Gargano lost the very next round.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Gargano submitted to Perkins the next round.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I really loved the Cruiserweight Classic, how it introduced so many new guys into the universe, and then the fact that these guys could go out and still wrestle indies. I saw Lindsay Dorado, Ciampa, Alexander, Tony Nese,
Yeah, I saw
Saber.
Alexander too.
And it introduced a lot of people. I know, for me, I know a lot of these Mexican guys and some of the Japanese guys. I had never really seen Noam Dar wrestle. It was really cool to see everybody. I really like how the whole tournament was framed, how, they had those neat little 60, 90-second intro vignettes every match for guys. It was really, really fun. I'm not a big fan of TJ Perkins. I thought he wrestled really well, though, especially in those finals against we had to wrestle Metalik and Ibushi.
He needs Stokely.
Oh, they're not interested in managers, though, so we'll see where they go.
They're not interested in male managers, I don't think.
No, they're just not interested in managers unless they're connected within the family of WWE. I mean, they might make, if Stokely makes enough buzz this year or next year, they might bring him in. But that's a very big if.
Yeah, for the most part, they don't do managers. Doesn't make sense, but okay.
Do you guys think that with the Cruiserweight division now on Raw, do you think they'll do another classic next summer?
Yes, absolutely.
they'll probably do a and they're gonna do a women's classic. It seems also.
Yeah, I think that's going to come out in the spring. Maybe I heard they were going to tape it like this month or next month.
And
Yeah,
with
they
the
just signed
Cruiserweight
Kimber and
Classic,
Heidi.
you
So
had Daniel Bryan on commentary, which was phenomenal.
yeah, DB talking wrestling was great.
And him marking out over Brian Kendrick.
Oh yeah, that was. But like, it wasn't just that was just great TV. That was just so sweet. Just like, oh no, there's this a guy watching his friend, and like it was something you don't really see much on WWE TV, and it was really personal and really nice.
Yeah, it was a very, very interesting show, and the rest of the year in WWE was filled with some interesting matches. The Brock Goldberg match, obviously. We haven't really been talking about the elephant in the room, though, which is Roman Reigns. And so, Jared, what are your thoughts right now on Roman Reigns' year?
Been pretty much back and forth like usual. I know there's a lot of talk still about turning heel and all that. I think he needs to change scenery. Maybe he can be salvaged if you put him on SmackDown. I actually think he'll go to SmackDown during the draft this year. It could help him. The heel turn might help. And at this point, what have they got to lose?
And he's had a good year, honestly, in ring. He's had a fantastic year. It's just the fans are not responding to him at all. And apart from booing him half to death, and people even his biggest fans want to see him turn heel and see what he can do there. So, Michael, you've alluded to having some issues with Reigns. What are your thoughts on his year?
I mean, as has been said, he in ring he's had a fantastic year. Anyone who disagrees, you just really, really don't like him. But just as a character, I don't think he's really that bad. He's kind of blah. But at this point, they've been trying for close to 3 years now to make him the dude, and it just hasn't worked for one reason or another. The only night it worked was the night when he beat Sheamus for the title on that Raw in Philly, where you had a Philly crowd chanting for him. But then again, everyone hated Sheamus then. So who knows how much of that cheer was for what. But
and Vince.
Yeah, and Vince as well, because Vince was out there. But, I don't know what it'll take to rehab him, but, I think some type of character change. I don't know really what you would do. I will say get out of the vest. I think to him still being in the Shield vest has never really helped him. I know it's not technically the Shield vest anymore, but he's got to get out of that. He's just, nothing makes me ooh and ah about Roman Reigns. His matches with Styles are great, but that was because Styles was there. If he has a match with Cena, it'll be because Cena's there. He's had good matches, but I just can't care. I would love to. I really want to, but I don't know what has to change, but something's got to change with him.
Yeah, there is a need for change when it comes to Reigns. Although I do like the vest. The vest I think is awesome, and
it's a cool vest. I just think it's too close to the Shield.
Sure, but every one of the guys has a look that is way too similar to their old Shield look anyway. You got Dean, who's still wearing black, and Seth, who's in his what I call the extra from For the Dark World outfit.
Well, I like him in the white pant and the white with the gold getup, but I always wear it gray.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Power Ranger, and also he wore that Tron-inspired outfit at SummerSlam.
Yes.
That was something.
That happened.
Yeah. Overall, I think the Free Shield guys had a good year. Still over-dominated a lot of the upper card, the main event, and the WWE was really banking on these free to work out, but Seth got hurt, didn't have a very good heel run, and now he's in a face run where he's not getting the right reaction. Dean was Dean. He was okay through the year. And then there was Roman, who had a good in-ring year, but a horrible fan reaction.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. And just looking back at the year, it's just like we also had towards the tail end of the year, we have now the rise of, we mentioned them earlier a little bit, the rise of several streaming services. We've had the battle between the WWE Network, New Japan World, and now FloSlam is getting into the ring, along with the soon-to-be launching Powerbomb TV.
What? I never even heard of that one.
Powerbomb TV is launching apparently in 2017. It's going to be featuring a lot of independent companies that aren't signed to FloSlam deals. There has been a slight delay due to some health issues involving some of the founders, so that should be coming up pretty soon.
I mean, you also have a lot of independent companies that have their own thing. Beyond Wrestling has Beyond Demand. Progress, ICW, they have their own things. I know Evolve is now exclusively through FloSlam. I believe they're exclusively through FloSlam. But there's a whole bunch of companies up and down. I think AAW might have something. It's just a whole bunch of places now where you can watch wrestling. Like if you can't find some type of wrestling to like somewhere, then I just think the wrestling isn't for you because there's so many ways to watch it now.
I mean, do you feel like there's kind of a civil war brewing between the various different independent wrestling companies?
I don't think so. Everyone seems to kind of. I don't think so because everyone. I mean, they don't exchange talent, but I mean, no one's exclusive. I mean, not even top Ring of Honor guys. Keith Lee, Shane Taylor, Donovan Dijak, those guys all work all over the world. And then you have, you look at, the British wrestling scene, with World of Sport that just came back. I don't know how that went. I didn't read anything about it, but I know that was a big deal. And then you have, they're all using the same guys: Jimmy Havoc, Martin Scurll, Will Ospreay, Sabre. I mean, ICW kind of does its own thing in Scotland, but even then, they just drew 6,200 people to their big show in November. I think as long as the talent keeps moving around and everyone's being utilized, I don't think there'll be a civil war per se. I think in a way they'll almost like kind of rebirth the old territory system where everyone kind of exchanges talent around, but has their own rough core of guys and girls that they use. And then there'll be a next step up. There'll be Ring of Honor, and then the next step up will be New Japan, and then you have WWE at the top. And then TNA is there, but I mean, TNA is going postmodern, Matt Hardy craziness, which I love, but it's kind of its own thing at this point.
Speaking of TNA, look who has joined our call today. It is Eddie Mack. You there?
Eddie made it after his mic's muted. Oh, there it is.
Is that John Cena's theme he's playing?
Yes, it is.
Which, by the way, is 2 minutes and 59 seconds on WWE Music on YouTube channel.
So, here we go.
Yeah, I wanted to make an entrance. Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year too, sir.
Happy New Year, Eddie, and glad you're here. So, we were talking about TNA just now. What were your thoughts on this whole situation about TNA in 2016?
Oh my God, that company's a mess, isn't it? I don't understand why anyone would want to do business with these people. It's like nobody there has a clue in that company, and I'm not talking about nobody in general. I mean the people that need to have a clue, i.e., you know, the people up top, the Dixie Carter et al. And I'm, you know, not talking about the, you know, the underlings, you know, those people that you know have suffered the most, and for all intents and purposes, probably could have been out of work right now if you know they didn't have their shit together or whatever.
I mean, at one point you had like speculation that some of the wrestlers were actually doing the jobs of the unpaid interns. Not to mention this whole battle between Sovereign Energy Heiress versus
Smashing
Rockstar.
Pumpkin.
Yes.
The lead singer of Smashing Pumpkins, and I'll be honest with you, I was kind of pulling for Billy because he at least looked like he had a clue, but
he also gave him decent creative direction, which also was a lot of that was paid for by a guy that
looks like he got swindled out quite a bit of money, but I guess he got a pretty good settlement, so good for him, I suppose.
But 2016 did give us the year of broken Matt Hardy.
Let me say something about and don't get me wrong, I absolutely love the Broken Hardy, the whole broken verse thing. It's about the only thing that, quite frankly, is keeping TNA upright right now. Here's the catch-22. They now have to keep that going forever because the second that ends, TNA might as well cease to exist.
Yeah, but I mean, it's so, at least right now, it's so damn fun. Let's just
that's what I'm saying. They have to keep it going for literally for eternity, long after it jumps the shark, long after it becomes useless. They have to keep it going because that is about all they have right now.
Well, I mean, things could always change.
Otherwise, they'll be deleted.
Delete. Yeah, it's funny. My brother hates it. Absolutely can't stand the stuff. And it's like I know that's not an uncommon thought process in wrestling, where it's like, this is so crazy, and it's like, yeah, but it's pro wrestling. Like,
it's not supposed to make sense if we think about it.
It's professional wrestling. Like, everything within I like how you called it, Eddie, the broken verse. Everything about it makes sense within its own little timeline, except for the fact that from Total Nonstop Deletion, I believe that Eddie versus Bobby never finished their world title match. Wrestling.
That match got deleted. That's how it makes sense.
Yeah, but it's so different. It's so unique. I mean, Matt and Jeff are just the people crazy enough to make it happen. Fun. I mean, I completely, punked out of TNA a few years ago when all this shit started hitting the fan, and now whenever anything crazy Matt happens, I'm all in, watching it in high definition. I love it.
I'm still done with TNA, but just about anything Broken Matt I will watch. Anything else I do not care.
I mean, the one group of people that we should talk about as well is the Decay. The Decay has really stepped up their game.
Didn't they take somebody's car, do some business, and then steal it?
They stole a car, yes, but at the same time, you have Rosemary, who just emerged onto the national scene this year, who'd been up in Canada for years. And you have the next reinvention of Abyss's character, and then you have Crazy Steve, who hadn't been doing really anything, so they turned him into the evil psycho clown, with Abyss, who doesn't have a mask anymore, and Rosemary, who leads
stop.
Yeah?
Evil psycho clown. Is there any other kind of clown, if we're being honest?
Hey, Ronald McDonald is an evil and psycho. Maybe behind closed doors. No, I like Total Nonstop Deletion, where Steve and Abyss are just there. They're just killing people, like
They
literally killing
They killed a few guys. didn't they?
NPCs. It's so crazy. Like Lucha Underground is my show. I love Lucha Underground to the ends of the world. And I think even the Broken Verse is even crazier than Lucha Underground, and I love it.
I mean, Lucha Underground has actual murders and strange spiritual storylines involving Aztec gods.
Well, it's like
Even Lucha Underground would tell the Broken Verse that, guys, you're killing a few too many people. Can you kind of slow it down a little bit?
yeah. Well, I mean, now they're making people into demigods, and the snake people have kidnapped the Dragon Man. It's like when you talk about Lucha Underground flatly, it sounds so stupid, but it's so great.
I mean, it works in its own little niche universe, and I think that that's what the creators need to finally understand, is that this is a exclusively niche universe. This is not some kind of like big deal or anything like that, because that's what's gotten them into trouble before, you know? Just stay the course of where you are. Your ratings have tanked from season 2 to season 3, but there's some things that you could seriously improve on, like, please, for the love of God, stop having people hit each other in the head with unprotected chair shots.
Yeah, that just happened this past week with Tejano and Cage. I don't like it. I really don't like it.
Why?
But-
Just
Like, they take...
it's 2017. We kind of know what chair shots to the head do to the brain. We don't fully understand, but we kind of have an idea by now. Just
We know it's a bad idea.
Yeah.
It's bad.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean,
You're not.
I recommended this documentary back at the Fastlane show that I did. A League in Denial from Frontline is one of the most comprehensive documentaries about the CTE crisis in the NFL, and it certainly applies to professional wrestling. You know.
Yeah, but I mean, from a narrative perspective, I love Lucha Underground, and from a ratings perspective, not just Lucha, but just wrestling in general. I mean, the ratings have cratered from even just 5 years ago, and just I feel like the problem is that, at least from a WWE perspective, they're looking to pop ratings with, ooh, look at this B-list celebrity that we have. Ooh, Stephen Amell's wrestling a match. Just stay your lane, make a good television show, and people will come.
The thing is that the people that you mentioned the ticket problem earlier in the show where they had to give away tickets. The thing is we're still in an economic crisis right now where people who are working class folks cannot afford tickets to wrestling shows that are high end like WWE. That's why they're going to indie shows, is because they're cheaper. You know, you can take the kids and a bunch of family members for about $40, if not more, if you're going for the ringside seats. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I know for my locals, like 25, 30 $30 is the high end. I know. I mean, 30s, the high end. I mean, it's so much more affordable when there's a bunch of $10 and $20 shows. You would take the 2 kids, and it's $30-$40 to walk in the door.
Yeah, I mean, that's the way 2016 is going, and 2017 is looking pretty good. And so we've almost got like an hour and plus of airtime, so let's get our final thoughts in before we wrap things up. So, Gabe, what are your final thoughts on 2016 as a wrestling year?
I thought it was pretty good. You saw stuff that went up, like way up, like SmackDown, and some stuff that just stayed the course, and some stuff that just went down, as in like NXT kind of probably was doing all right, and then kind of lost heart and soul, and has some good stuff, but it doesn't like feel as much like NXT. So like some stuff's rebuilding, some stuff's just stayed the course, and some stuff's just dramatic. And then a lot of other good stuff outside of WWE has happened, like the TNA stuff with Broken Matt Hardy, which is just insane. and stuff like and other stuff like that, and other stuff outside the indies that look promising also.
Yeah, that's really cool. So, Jared, what are your final thoughts on 2016 as a wrestling year?
Very hit or miss. There were some good moments, some bad moments. TNA with the broken my heart stuff. I like what Eddie said about keeping that going as long as you can. I think that works best if you don't take it seriously and you just kind of laugh with it. I think Baron Corbin's going to have a really big year this year. And if I had to make a prediction on the Royal Rumble winner for this year, I'd probably go with John Cena.
No, he has a match.
Does?
Yes. He has a WWE title match versus AJ Styles.
Oh, he's Superman. He can do 2 matches.
I feel like there's some 51, 52-year-old that might win the Royal Rumble.
Nah, he can go home.
Oh, that's cold. I agree, but that's still cold.
Any other thoughts, Jared?
Yeah, don't mess with Carmella.
Carmella is gonna put some cement shoes on James Ellsworth and dump him in a lake. So while she does that, Michael, what are your final thoughts on 2016 as a wrestling year?
Well, right off the top, I agree a lot with Jared. Hit and miss. The hits were really good, like Broken Matt. ROH had a good year. Final Battle was really good. I was at All Star Extravaganza, which was really, really good. A really good year for independent wrestling, both in Europe and here in the States. WWE, I like what SmackDown's doing. I love that AJ's got a tip-top spot. I just hope that the company stops riding Roman Reigns so hard. I think it would be a good move for both the company and for Reigns himself, who could certainly use a little bit more time in the background to kind of retool his character. Going into 2017, a couple of independent names I think people should be looking out for. I think having big years. Definitely David Starr, based out of mostly at Beyond and CZW, currently has the West Side Extreme, one of their titles for the German indie. I think he'll get some PWG bookings. And another from the Northeast is Anthony Green, who's only like 22, 23. Starr's only 24, who's having a really, really good year last year. And I think both of them are going to make some more national noise. And hopefully Donovan Dijak wins a title in Ring of Honor. We all love him here in New England. And we'd really love to see him get an ROH title.
Or Dilljak might be leaving. Because the thing that we need to pay attention for 2017, the first half at least, is that the contracts are up and a lot of Ring of Honor people are maybe leaving the company.
Isn't the current the current Ring of Honor champion not signed?
Yeah, Kyle O'Reilly is not signed. Neither is Bobby Fish.
Oh, I think Fish might have. I think Fish resigned.
Yeah, Fish re-upped.
Oh,
yeah,
Fish re-upped?
Yeah, but KOR is still.
And he's the champ.
There.
Isn't he the champ?
He is the champ.
Yeah, he's the world. Well, hey, you know what? I mean, he's wrestling Adam Cole in the Tokyo Dome in 2 days with the belt on the line. So, if he's not going to re-sign, maybe they just hot shot it right back to Adam Cole.
Who's leaving also.
No, I think Cole's going to hang around for another year in the Bullet Club.
He has to his contract's up, and technically it was up 2 days ago, but ROH is like, you got hurt. We're pushing your date back.
Well, technically his contract is up in April. That's how they pushed it forward to April at least.
Yeah,
so
it was
we'll
supposed
see.
to be up 2 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we'll see how that shakes out. But I think the Tokyo Dome is going to be fun. I think Ring of Honor will be okay. And I think some more of these big top indie guys, I don't know what you guys think, but I think a lot of them are going to stay on the indies. Guys like, I think the Young Bucks are never going to sign. Then you'll have guys like Saber, Ibushi. They're going to stay in freelance, and I think they're going to do okay.
Mm-hmm. Well, we'll see where that goes. Eddie, what are your thoughts on 2016, the year that was in wrestling?
Well, I am doing a whole countdown on it. It should be up by the end of the week. But my God, do we need wrestling more than ever in 2016? Because the real world outside of what goes on in that ring is it's not pretty.
Terrible.
It's not pretty, people. It's not pretty. And thank goodness for those men and women who put their bodies on the line every night so that we can escape from the bullshit that's going on out there. And you guys just keep doing what you do.
Coolness.
Wrestling's awesome, people.
To quote Dean Ambrose, wrestling is stupid, but it's also kind of fun.
Yes.
Anything else to say, Eddie?
I think Mr. Anderson was right that one time. Wrestling is real, people are fake.
2016 was easily the most up and down year in professional wrestling history.
And I think the ups were really good, but the downs were.
Yeah.
Overall, good year. A good year. A lot better than 2015, I think.
Yeah, you survived WrestleMania, so that was.
Oh my God, that was a chore.
Mania isn't over.
We talked about WrestleMania earlier on the show and mentioned your podcast, your Speaks with Turney, and that was a very interesting show to listen to that day. Because I ended up with NXT TakeOver Dallas, and you ended up with the WrestleMania show. That was fun.
I wonder which one was better.
Mm-hmm. Huh?
Sarcasm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, TakeOver was better. It actually ended.
Yes.
In some part of the world it might. In some part of the world, it might still be happening right this very moment. WrestleMania. In fact, let me check to see if WrestleMania is on the. Let me check to see if WrestleMania 32 is on the network right now.
Mm-hmm.
I got the Cotton Bowl on my TV right now. That's in the same stadium as Mania. They still got a ring set up in the corner. They're still working matches.
Don't worry, don't worry, they're working that match too. That game.
Yes, they're watching the game while they're working the matches in Mania. So 2016 was one of the most up and down years in professional wrestling, primarily because there was a lot more exposure to it this year. Social media really played a big role this year in deciding the outcomes of a lot of different things. There's certainly going to be a lot more controversy. There's certainly going to be a lot more good moments. And, well, to tell you the truth, folks, 2016 was my best professional year as far as doing these creative projects. I ended up going from a presenter to a moderator on this here very show, and I've been so happy to get all of these different people on board on these various different podcasts since I did that Lucha Underground season 2 Lucha Underground show. My Trial by Fire, that was fun. All the other shows that I've done since then have been an absolute blast to do, and I'm so very thankful that we managed to make it to our 1-year anniversary for Speaks. I've been so happy to help out Sean Reuter and Cam Tierney with this show, and we'll see where we go from here because we've got quite a few shows down the pipeline for Speaks. We've got the Royal Rumble, we've got TakeOver, we've got the New Japan Wrestle Kingdom show coming up. So we'll see you when we see you, and in January.
Before we go, I have checked right now on the WWE Network as we're recording this. The 1988 Royal Rumble.
Oh,
Who
boy.
won that?
That would be, I believe...
Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Mm-hmm.
By the way, the main event of that show, I believe, was a tag team match, but the big story of the show was the contract signing for Hogan Andre 2.
Yep.
That was in Hamilton, Ontario, of all the
Yes,
places.
it was.
Yep. Up in Canada.
Actually,
God.
changed my mind.
And it was on the USA Network, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
I just pulled it up. The whole card is 4 matches.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it must have been lit.
Steamboat over Rude in 17 minutes by DQ. The Jumping Bomb Angels over the Glamour Girls, 2 out of 3 falls for the women's tag titles in
I forgot that
15.
was on that show.
Duggan last eliminates the one-man gang in a 33-minute 20-man rumble. And the main event is 2 out of 3 falls is the Islanders and the Young Stallions.
I just realized something. One Man Gang was the last man eliminated in the first Royal Rumble and the first World War III Battle Royal.
Yep. That's interesting.
See how history is like that.
Yep. But this has been such a great show to do with you guys. Thank you all for participating in this 2016 year back. We'll be back in 2018 to hopefully do the 2017 look back with a different. With either we'll have some people on from this one and some people that are new to this look back. Thank you all once again for joining us on this edition of Cageside Speaks. Once again, we will see you next time, either the New Japan show or Takeover or the Rumble, whichever one comes first. And
Wrestle Kingdom is going to be fun.
And it's going to be super fun. And, well, this has been 14 Fitzpatrick, and I'll see you next time for another edition of Cageside Speaks on CagesideSeats.com. You can look us up on the YouTube of Cageside Seats and on the Cageside Seats main page, which this will be posted up to in a couple hours, even day, depends on when Sean gets to it.
It might be up by the time might be up by the time you listen to this.
Yep. So we'll see you then. So, bye.
So long.
Hi.